tell me.
The meeting of the Board of Public Works of Connersville is now in session. Please rise. We'll have our Pledge of Allegiance by Tim Bentley.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America
and
and
to
to
the republic
for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everyone would please silence their phones, we'll have our invocation by Reverend Don Miller.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for creation, lovely days like today. Father, the spring just refreshes our souls. Father, we love to see the tomatoes grow. Father, we're also thankful for life, the ability that we have to come and conduct business of the city. Father, be with these individuals just now as they encourage progress within our community. Thankful for, Father, we're thankful for being able to live in this country, that we can actually come and do the government business in freedom and in liberty. Father, we're also thankful, Father, for your Son, Jesus. Father, we know, like the Hebrew children, we need a fourth man in our life, and that's your Son, Jesus Christ, who came to this earth, to this place, to give us an opportunity of eternal life, but also, Father, He gave us an opportunity to live abundantly each and every day. And Father, we're thankful for your grace and mercy that allows that to happen. These things we ask in His name. Amen.
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 Thank you. Give everybody, like I said, please silence your phones. We'll have roll call.
Jim Barrett.
Here.
Tim Bentley.
Here.
Jerry Irvin.
Here.
Annette Reedman.
Here.
Okay, in your packet you have the the minutes of the meetings of May 7th. Is there any additions or corrections?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as read.
Okay, a motion and a second to pass the minutes as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passed. Okay, going down to our first item on the agenda. Amanda?
Yes.
Okay, just recently, we appointed Amanda head of our Festival Committee of Connersville, and she's here to give us a little bit of an update on what she's got going on. So, go ahead, Amanda.
Well, we were working on Apple Dumpling Festival, and I was told I need to come down and talk to you guys about the road closures that we need to have for Friday and Saturday and for the parade. And I have, if you want to take one and pass it down, that gives you the overview, and then there's all the road closures that we would need.
What's the date?
September 14th and 15th, it's a Friday and Saturday. Friday, the plan is to be closed from 5 to 10 downtown on Central Avenue from 4th to 5th Street, and then on 5th Street from Central to Grand. And the downtown stores there, Michelle Fox, Brian's Bookstore, and the Democrat headquarters will be doing things and having specials. And then we will have 5 food trucks parked on the opposite side of the road. And in the square there, we'll have a stage set up, and I have several things scheduled for that evening. We have a comedy show, a magic act, and Imagine Arts Theater is going to perform. And then the railroad is going to be offering $5 rail car rides. The Historical Museum will be giving tours there, and then the Senior Center was also going to stay open, and they're going to do a sidewalk sale. And that is Friday. And Saturday, the parade will start at noon. We will line up at Smalley's Lake and come up Eastern Avenue to First, turn left on First, go up to Central, turn right on Central, and we'll go all the way down Central to 9th Street, and then we'll turn left on 9th, and we've been given permission to end in St. Gabriel's parking lot.
Amanda,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but I
That's
missed the dates.
September 14th and 15th.
Great.
Are you excited?
I'm excited. I got a great board of people, and they are all excited. We recently added Cam Sparks to our board because we were at an even number, and Cam is working on a Veterans Corner, and we will also have a Basketball Connersville All-Stars section.
Okay, is there any more questions for Amanda? Beth, you got any questions for her?
I do not. I've given her waivers of liability forms to sign, and as you know, we passed the ordinance establishing the committee, so I think she's ready to go.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is Vane.
Hi. I'm here to present a thing that the Discover Connersville group has approved, and I've talked to Mr. Moorhead about it. And he said that it would be good to proceed to repaint crosswalks in the downtown area between 4th Street, starting at 4th Street, going up through 9th Avenue on Central Avenue. And I brought a map and I meant to unfold it, to re-roll it so that it actually show, but we've got a fairly good space here that Discover Connersville is trying to get help renovating. That's basically the idea, and improve tourism. And the idea behind these crosswalks is that there'll be, we were thinking the theme will be railroad. It'll be so that we can get people to, when they get off the train, they can come over and start walking around and say, oh, there's a crosswalk. Oh yeah, let's go, and get people over to the various places. We'll have where the farmers market, the art association, the museum, and so on, connecting all those with these crosswalks. Dan Parker has done a sketch of one, what they might be, and Mr. Moorhead has said that the way we could do it, we'd use special paint. There's a paint that has glass beads embedded in it, and there's a template you have made, or
Template, that's good.
a template made that you use that's made out of plastic, and you can lay it down and spray over. And they'd be doing probably, is it half a crosswalk at a time?
Half crosswalk at a time.
And block the streets as needed, and try to do it, as quickly as possible. The idea is to make it so that it's not just a railroad track, kind of not just squares and that. But the idea is to put some texture in it, make it look like there is ties, thank you, and rails and spikes, in the railroad, and make it look sophisticated enough that it'll draw attention. So that Mr. Moorhead said the city department could do it. We can get a grant to provide any extra money for materials, because the paint will cost something extra, and of course your time will be worth something. We can get some volunteer help to help if that's okay with the city and the Department of Works to do, I don't know, whatever's necessary to fill in. And then,
as far as the texturing itself goes, as we talked, to bring out spikes and the texture of the ties and things like that, we are not artists. So I told him, may have to get some help there. Okay.
and luckily the Art Association has some people like Dan Parker and
Okay, Dan
And
can do
Terry-
it.
and
Dan, wear your old
Thank you,
suit.
Dan.
Okay.
Terry Reno, of course. This will be a mural on the street, so
Right.
he's starting a new mural project as well. So we have all those counted. It's about, and I've tried laying out different things. It's about 30 crossings in this area here. We might, once we have a template made, we might want to do more, other places as things expand, and we'll have that. It just, that costs money to make the template. It costs money for the extra, the paint, and of course some of the labor and whatever other material, capital costs you might have.
Yeah, we know not what the cost of the template's going to be yet.
Okay.
So, Mr. Moorhead's going to look, you're going to look into getting an estimate for that, and
So is Discover Connersville willing to pay for some of this stuff? then?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
of course, the mayor's office.
Yeah. The mayor's office right here beside you. Okay, all right, okay.
Anyway, I really appreciate we appreciate what's being done now, and we've had a very, very nice group of donors from the UAE and different places that are helping with the renovation of the buildings, and now we're hoping that we can and this is something I'm not very familiar with, is there's a group of city redevelopment in Indiana that helps with this, things like that, and that's where we're looking for the grant.
Okay.
So as soon as we get estimates for the paint, estimates for the extra labor, extras for whatever capital we have, plus we find out what the actual drawing's gonna look like and so on, we will come back and move forward with your approval, of course.
Okay, is there any more questions for him?
I like the idea. I think we're doing something different in Connersville, and I like that move.
Good, I need to entertain a motion then to.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion to second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passed.
Thank you very, very much.
You.
And we will keep you appraised. Then move on.
Diana?
As you all know, we were awarded a grant from NDOT to do sidewalk reconstruction from 3rd Street to 5th Street on Central. We had to pick an engineering firm to do the design and the inspection of that. It was scored by Mike Bottomley and Brad Coulter, and we received notification today that all of our paperwork was in order and that Butler, Fairman, and Seifert was chosen to be that. I just need the board to accept that so we can move forward with contract negotiations.
So moved.
Second. Okay, motion to second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Diana, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. A few weeks ago, we took bids for a trash truck, and we've decided to accept Southeastern for the bid of $241,852. Are they here? Anybody? Okay, we demoed, we looked at the truck this morning, so I think some of the board members were there, and I need a motion to pass that.
So moved. Second.
You have a motion to second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Going down to item E, Resolution 2018-12, social media policy. Beth, would you like to speak to that, please?
I'd be glad to. I was approached months ago by a department head with regard to developing a social media policy, and since that time, I've been approached by a second department head who wanted a social media policy, and I'm referring to things like Facebook, Twitter, things like that. As I'm sure you all know, that's very prevalent in use today in society, and most departments, governmental bodies have social media policies in place. The purpose being just to establish guidelines and rules so that people understand what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, and you might think that that's a matter of common sense, but that doesn't always prevail, so it's better to have guidelines for everybody so there's no question about what you can do. Now, this does not mean that we would be curtailing any employees' free speech rights or First Amendment rights. That issue has been litigated in the federal courts, and there's plenty of case law on that. But what this would do would be prevent employees from posting perhaps in a way that would make it seem like they're speaking on behalf of the city when they are not authorized to do so. They can post whatever they want on their private accounts and with their own devices, but this just sets out what they may and may not do as far as investigations by the city or speaking on behalf of the city when they aren't the director or supervisor, or talking about things that they basically should not be talking about. So I have discussed this with the various department heads, and I don't intend to speak for them, and many of them are present today, but I believe they're all on board with it and they've all seen it. So if you have any, I don't want to really get into the particulars of the discussions we've had or why they think it's necessary, but I agree with them that we should have it to protect the city.
Okay.
I believe all department heads are satisfied with it. I make a motion, we accept it.
Second. We have a motion to second, to pass resolution 2018-12. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. Okay, Beth, you want to go ahead and speak to the cell phone policy?
Sure. And with regard to the first policy, that is a city-wide policy, so that will apply to not only contractual but non-contractual employees. That will apply to every city employee, but the things that it prohibits are something that you would prohibit for anybody. So that's not going to restrict anybody or keep them from doing something they shouldn't be doing. The second resolution at this point in time will only apply to the fire department. The fire chief and I discussed this specifically, and I had prepared it originally to apply to all departments, and if you read it, it just really is not necessary for all of the departments. This is the type of policy that probably would only be necessary for emergency type personnel. So later, if the police department wanted to have it, or EMS, you could enact the same policy for them. But for now, this would only be cell phone usage for the fire department personnel. It's pretty brief and self-explanatory. Once again, it doesn't really abridge anybody from doing anything that they shouldn't be doing.
Okay, any more questions for Beth?
Make a motion, acceptance.
Second?
You have a motion and a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passed. Okay, Beth, you're on again. Approval of PSG Energy Group's contract.
Well, most of you are probably aware that the city for some time now has been working with PSG Energy to try to bring about the use of solar energy for the city. And you might recall that some time ago, you authorized the city requests for proposals for a guaranteed energy savings contract. That's authorized by statute. That's found at Indiana Code 36-1-12.5. And PSG Energy is the only company that responded to that request for proposals. And we have met with them several times. And basically this, and I'm going to let them speak more specifically to the actual savings, but this contract would result in not only Connorsville being more of a leader as far as green technology and saving energy, and renewable energy, but it would result in a very, very large savings over a number of years to Connorsville. It would include not only solar panels that would be installed at various places throughout the city, but also LED lighting. And then there are also energy credits involved with going solar. So this contract is lengthy. What you see before you today in this binder is a final version. I've read over this energy savings contract and all of the various attachments that were in your packet 3 or 4 times. And it's been amended. We've agreed to every change in the contract. There were some things that I just thought were not on the city's behalf, some legal things like what law applied and arbitration and just the indemnification clauses and things like that. And we have all of that worked out to what I believe is to the city's advantage. I've also met with the city's insurance agent, Brad Wilson. We've discussed this contract in detail. As far as builder's risk policy, during the time that the panels are being erected and placed throughout the city, they basically incur that risk, but our insurer is aware of this, is aware that this will have to be added at some point onto what we insure, and that's not going to be a problem. So other than that, I would tell you that's the legalities of it. And if you've looked at the numbers and you have specific questions, we do have representatives from PSG Energy Group present, and we also have a gentleman present from George Baum Company who would talk to you, although this wouldn't be something that you'll approve. This would be for city council because it's the financial end of it, but he can answer any of the questions you might have about the financing of the matter. I would probably start with the questions you might have for PSG Energy Group, because you are the body, as the executive body, who would authorize the mayor to sign this PSG Energy Group contract. But as far as the financing of the contract, because it does call for a payment in excess of $4 million. So as far as the financing, obviously that's something that city council would have to be involved with. This would just be you approving, entering into the contract if the financing is in place. Would you like to introduce yourselves, everybody?
I'm Jamie Krinsky, the CEO of BSG Energy Group. Damian Magos with George K. Ballman Company.
And I'm Jen Merzlack with PSG Energy Group.
So would you like to speak towards this?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So
Come on up to the podium.
please.
there's 15 projects, is that right? Is that the final count? So 14, 15 projects. We've worked through all the departments to find out the suitable placement of the projects. We've looked at the energy bills and created a solution that generally offsets the energy needs at the utility by way of the solar and the LED lighting. We've brought in we've introduced the finance group so that this is, as we spoke of early on, this is really a zero capital outlay. It's more of a lease inside of a guaranteed energy savings project. And so under the terms of the guaranteed energy savings project, we have a guarantee to perform in our savings. So when all of that is said and done, I think we're down to 15 projects that we've got inside this one contract, this guaranteed energy savings contract.
And what would the setup cost be
The setup cost,
for this project?
what is our final, you got a printout of that? So the total capital cost, I think, is $4.4 million.
4.4 million?
Yeah.
And then I am looking at this. The total savings cost, and it looks like it's 3.278 million. And unless I'm looking at the wrong thing, it doesn't look as though we're making that much of a savings after the initial cost of setup.
So when we look at, and I'm not sure what document that is you're looking at, but the financing documents that we have in place, the performas that we have, when we measure over a 25-year period, why 25 years and not some other number? Because we've got a warranty on the panels and a guarantee of performance for 25 years on the panels. So there's different savings if you do a 15-year finance package versus a 20-year finance package. But over the term of 25 years on a 20-year finance, you're looking at an estimated savings of about $7.6 million. If we did a 15-year financial package, you'd be looking at about an $8.2 million savings. And again, that's over the 25 years.
Okay, what is this that I was looking at?
That is 20 years. And this is showing out 25 years, because you'll have the system, the panels under warranty, and you won't be paying the lease. So it skews up to much more savings those last 5 years when you're not paying the lease payments.
Okay, is there any more discussion? Any more questions for him?
And we have someone here also, Mr. Maggios from George Baum, who if you have questions about the financing, he could explain that. And Annette, I had the same observation you had, and one of these documents looks like it indicates a savings of a little over 3 million. But then there's another schedule, 1.1 schedule of savings, and it says avoided costs from solar energy generation, and it's almost 9.7 million. So there are a lot of figures in here. So if you have any questions, now's the time for sure to ask those questions.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate what you said as far as the 9 million, 7 million, but I guess I'd like to see it in writing. And I think the city council tonight would like the same thing before they vote on, spending this kind of money.
Well, that's why it's called a guaranteed energy savings contract. That is that guarantee in writing that those savings will be realized, and that's why for the first 5 years of the contract, we have the monitoring to assure that they are meeting those savings. And they are required legally under this contract to produce those savings throughout the 20-year lease.
And who will be monitoring it?
Well, we would include, part of this agreement you might see is an operations and maintenance agreement, and they would be maintaining and operating the panels because that's their area of expertise, as opposed to having someone like from the street department do it. But they have to document those savings to the city. It wouldn't be that we would be taking their word for it.
Yeah, in an annual report, we'll show you, and we'll give you an indication on what those savings are and how the systems perform. So if the contract says we're to produce X number of kilowatt hours, and that's how all the savings are realized, we'll give you a report annually that'll indicate that. We'll also have a real-time monitoring system up, so you'll be able to see in real time, are we on track?
I think this is a grand idea. I'm not opposed to the idea, but from the figures that I'm looking at, I can't, other than what you said, Beth, that you felt the same way. I think I would have to caution the city council to look at it very closely before we spend $4 million for something that this says $3 million, Beth says $9 million. And I'm just thinking, you know,
Well, let's
we
talk
need
about
some-
those two figures. Let's talk about those now. And Ned, what document are you looking at for the 3 million? And I know I saw that earlier. Here we go. Here we go. It's Exhibit C, Solar Financial Cell Leaseback Analysis. I'm sorry? I don't have an extra. I'm sorry. I don't think. Let me.
She may have one.
Well, maybe I do think, let me see here. Okay, so if someone from PSG would explain, because I think now is the time to have this discussion when everybody's here. So if you look at Exhibit C, it says pro forma on top, and this was provided by PSG. It says that would be $3.278 million total annual savings over 20 years, and that's what Annette is referring to. And then if you look at, let me find the other document. If you look at schedule of savings 1.1, and that's under Exhibit D. It's a few pages back into Exhibit D. And it shows avoided costs, but that also has in it, you might know, the LED savings, which are almost $800,000 a year over the course of 20 years as well, but I don't think that still accounts for all of the difference. And that's 9.698 million. So if someone could explain to Mrs. Reedman the difference in those figures.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference that you're seeing in here is that when we talk to the lender, when we put the, and Damien can talk to this more, but when we bring the lenders in, we're actually looking over a 25-year period, and it is on those back 5 years where the savings is very significant. When all of the costs fall off, you're not making a lease payment anymore, and your operating cost is very low. That's the substantive difference, and I'd be happy to share this document with you, Damien. How many of you did you bring? This is actually what the bank looks at. Let me just give this to you. I'll give each of you a copy.
Okay.
And let's go to the 20-year option. So in there, you'll see a few, we've got a 15-year and a 20-year option that we're talking with the lenders about.
I think I have that with me already. Thank you.
So let me point your attention to the 20-year, which is the numbers that I was talking to you about earlier. So on this 20-year, this has consolidated all of the revisions, all of the LED savings, and all of the solar savings, and we're measuring it over a period of 25 years, and with the interest rate that has been prescribed by the lender. So as you can see, when you follow the second from the end column down, the total savings, that's where we're getting to that $7,630,087. So that's what the bank looks at, because the bank makes sure that we're in accordance, accordance with the Guaranteed Energy Savings Contract.
Okay, then let me ask you one more thing, and this is a kindergarten question. How is this going to affect the people of Connersville?
Well, it's going to affect it in a positive light, because now the city, as you'll see in year one up here, has a net positive cash benefit of $112,000. So to the extent that different departments across the city can feel that benefit, it's $112,000 of savings that the city didn't have. And again, we're talking about an arbitrage. So these are dollars that you're currently spending at the utility now. You're going to provide a cleaner source of energy, a better source of lighting, and you're going to save in year one $112,000.
To me, that leaves $112,000 extra in the budget.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And then you'll see that if you continue to look down that list, you'll see that its savings drops off a little bit in year two, but you're still $42,000 positive. And you can see how that goes on year after year.
And then see what year is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the ninth year, it goes back up quite a bit.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And the reason for that jump in how much we save in the ninth year is?
Well, you've got, your system is performing, you go from you're actually clipping along about 20,000, you're growing about 20,000 a year in terms of benefit. And that's because we're recognizing utility inflation with that. And from year 8 to year 9, you're just seeing it go from 87 to 109, which is pretty consistent with, those annual increases across the board. But when you look down to year 2039, where you're saving $409,000, then your payment drops off in year 2039. Now your savings is over $772,000. So those are the big jumps, and you see significant savings in the next, in those 5 years. But what I'm not showing you here is that these continue to produce a benefit for 40 years. So I'm only showing you 25 years. The reality is the city of Connersville now has a 40-year solution. If I showed you the savings over 40 years, it would really accentuate the benefit. And then conversely, we wanted to include another option, much like when you look at buying a house and putting a mortgage on your house. Do you want to do the 30-year? Do you want to do the 15-year? I opt to go to the 15-year. Wanted to show you what that looks like as well. In a couple of pages back, you'll see that your savings are much, much greater over the long haul. But you're not saving as much in those early years because you're paying that elevated payment. So again, granted, the 15-year looks better over the whole term. We feel that the 20-year is a good option because the city realizes very significant savings right away. And again, these aren't necessarily new dollars. It's new in a different way, but this is an arbitrage of which you're already paying these dollars now. We're just allocating it under a guaranteed energy savings project for the asset. And as Beth said earlier, PSG has an obligation to perform under a guaranteed energy savings contract. So we obligate to produce the energy that we're talking about. And if we don't produce, we have to cure. And that's the wonderful thing of a guaranteed energy savings contract. You get the benefit, you're guaranteed the benefit of production in the contract.
Okay, I realize that the Board of Works is getting, in a nutshell, version. Has anyone else on the Board of Works served on this committee?
Well, it's not really a committee. Since I'm the city attorney, of course, I see the contract because I see just about
Okay.
every contract. But this is, I guess, well, I guess what I would say is it's not a committee per se of people. But maybe you should talk about some of the other projects you've done.
Sure. So we're just,
Well, one thing, I just wanted to let you know, this started over the ballparks, because we were trying to figure out a way to pay for the ballparks. And so this is one of the things we went to. And so eventually these will be down at the ballpark also, and so it's helped fund pay for the lights and stuff. Well, just all the lights, the scoreboards, is going to help pay for that stuff down in there too, with these energy savings. So.
So you sort of bought on to the idea.
Yes. And it is putting money back in our pocket.
Nobody's going to argue about that.
You think it's a good deal, Beth?
Well, I think as far as the contract goes, I've made sure that the city's protected in the contract. As I said, we've revised it several times and I've read it completely numerous times. And yeah, historically, I guess what I should have said to you, Annette, is when we've had meetings with various people about River's Edge Park, of course, there's an architectural firm working with us, and it's Steve Alexander, who, did the senior housing project for the Pattern Mill and did the John Connor statue. And he's involved in a lot of, development in areas maybe that don't have the best financial circumstances throughout the state. So he knows a lot of people and a lot of companies. And so he introduced us to PSG as a way that we might be able to realize some savings and help finance River's Edge Park. They have completed several different projects throughout the state. I believe the city of Bloomington, various school corporations, and if you've been to the Indianapolis airport, you might have noticed a very, very large solar installation there. They did that project. So he has worked with them on other projects, and so I guess that's how the whole thing started, through the River's Edge Committee.
Okay. How long have you been in business?
PST's been in business about 3 years. I've been in the market since 1992.
Okay.
So I've been doing this for a really long time. I've just dated myself a little bit there. But we did, and as Beth said, the city of Bloomington is one of a few cities last year that determined to do the very thing that we're talking about here today. We see it as a trend across the state of Indiana particularly, but more broadly across the Midwest. Our focus in PSG is in the public space. So 100% of the time, as Beth said, we're looking to partner with a city or a school to figure out how we can do more with the dollars that you're currently spending now. And we did about 64 projects in the state of Indiana, all under the array of a Guaranteed Energy Savings project. And all of them are performing just as they were designed to. So we think this is an extension of not only our expertise, it gives a financial strength to the city, and it's also something that you're going to see a lot of in years to come.
How can I compete with the Indianapolis airport?
Well, I guess you have a couple of options today, and I don't want you to feel like I have, except for wanting to represent the city the best way I can, I don't have any skin in the game as to whether you approve this or not, except I think it's for sure going to save the city a lot of money over a number of years, and it basically decreases pollution and all kinds of things because it's green energy, and it's going to last for a long time. But I don't want you to feel like anybody is trying to pressure you into doing something you don't feel comfortable with. Although they do have timelines and they would like to meet them, you can visit or call any of these other places where they have done installations and talked to them, you know, and maybe you could approve this at the next meeting, or you could decide to approve the mayor executing the contract with PSG, assuming that the financing falls into place as it should, meaning that he wouldn't be executing the contract today, but he would be executing it in the foreseeable future if the proper financing is arranged. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing proposition today.
And it does go before the council tonight.
Well,
so-
it has to go in front of the city council because of the financial end of it, and so everybody will be here again tonight to answer any questions anyone on the council has. So you could authorize the mayor to execute it, I guess contingent upon the city council approving, going ahead and trying to do the financing. There are several different things you could do.
I make a motion, we pass resolution 2018-14 with approval of city council.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, see you tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike?
Hello. Should receive a copy of my monthly report. As the report shows, April was a pretty good month for revenue versus disbursements, but I do want to keep reminding you every month that the sewer has an additional $40,000 in it until September due to a overpayment of a bond. So that'll look good until September. So just want to remind you of that. Overtime, $1,100 scheduled and $2,800 in overtime for a total of $4,015 in overtime. And rest of the report, just some minor, some of the bigger repairs of the month that we've done and that the guys done. I do have a couple items today. We advertised a couple weeks ago a new water department, employee service department, and we found someone. I'd like to get your approval on that person tonight. Name's Jeff Bowling. He has a lot of experience in this line of work. He's worked for a local excavating company for years. He's ran heavy equipment. He has a CDLs, which is one of the things that we was really looking for. Plus, his company has done work for us in the past, so we know what type of worker he is. So we'd like to get approval to hire him, get him started here in another couple weeks.
Make a motion, we approve Jeff Bowling.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
All right, the other item I have, a few meetings ago, we approved to buy the 2019 Dodge chassis, but at that time, I didn't have a quote for the equipment that goes on the truck. I got that this weekend, which includes the toolboxes, compressor, emergency lighting, the spray lining, et cetera. Pretty much the same equipment that we put on the sewer truck, except for the crane. This will not have a crane. The quote came back of $40,000 from Reading Truck Equipment, which is the same company we bought the sewer equipment from. So I guess I need to get approval to get the equipment ordered for the
Second.
equipment.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve $40,000. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And lastly, just to keep you guys informed, tonight we're having a public meeting on the Ochre grant, the $600,000 Ochre grant with City Council for the paint company lift station. But there'll be a public meeting tonight for that. Any questions? All right, thanks.
Okay, going down to department reports. Dan?
Good afternoon, Board of Works. Just a couple of things to report and bring to your attention. You may or may not be aware of the fact that Economic Development Group was instrumental in securing the Indiana Department of Workforce Development Skill Up Grant for two Connersville employers, that being Stant and Fayette Regional. Program is awarded the Elite Network, and the Elite Network are those employers who signed up to be a part of this round of Skill Up grant. At any rate, it awarded $1.28 million, and that is a very good thing for those employers, and a number of them throughout the region. There were several counties involved, I think 5 or 6 counties involved in this round 3 of the grant. So I want to bring that to your attention. That's a good thing. And that's not to exclude the other employers, although they were asked prior to the submission of the grant to participate. And Fayette Regional and Stanton were the only 2 that did get their paperwork together and were in time on the application. Those employers that want to take advantage of some of that money can make application late, although they will not be as high on the priority list as Fayette Regional and Stanton will be. The other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is that, and you've probably heard about this, but I want to reiterate it. It was a headline in the newspaper last Tuesday on the 15th, and that's this DNA Genetics, which will be holding an open house for chamber members and also the public on May 24th, that's this coming Thursday, from the hours of 12 to 4, with a ribbon cutting to take place at 2 p.m. It would be great for all of you to attend this. This is kind of a big deal, really, for Fayette County. There's not another operation like this, I believe, in the state. It's a $2.5 million investment in a state-of-the-art facility. It's one of 11 DNA genetic transfer centers in North America. They're expected 9 full-time employees and 10 part-time team members, with an average payroll of $400,000 to $500,000 per year. If you don't know how to get to it, and did I give the address?
No, you didn't.
Well, let me do that. The address is 4811 West County Road, 1000 North. Now, that's a Cambridge City address, but it's in Fayette County. It's so close to the Wayne County line that it does have a Cambridge City address with the 47327 zip code. But let me give you the address again, 4811 West County Road, 1000 North. And if you're going from State Road 1 in Milton, you would just turn west on Canal Street and continue about 3 3/4 miles. The road name will change from Canal Street to Wagner Street, or to Wagner Road, and then to 1000 North, and the Gene Center will be on your left. And if you're going from US 40 West, turn south on Bentonville Road to Claiborne Auto Sales, continue 1.5 miles, turn east on County Road 1000 North, and continue 1 mile. The Gene Center will be on your right. This is a big deal for us, and the Chamber's got a very nice ribbon cutting and grand opening planned along with the company, and it's really worth the time to participate in this. Something was said about CDL a few minutes ago. I believe it was Mike Bottomley, about searching for somebody who could fill this job. I had the pleasure meeting with Ivy Tech this morning at the Connersville campus, along with a couple of other entities. We are this close to having the CDL training here in Connersville, something we've been working on for over a year. I've had a number of logistics companies approach me and say, gee, if we could just have that, it would really help us because we can't get drivers. And this will be unique in as much as if you have a candidate that would like to be involved in this, there are grant monies that would allow the individual to pick up a $5,000, what would normally cost $5,000 CDL for nothing, all paid for with grant dollars. So thanks to Ivy Tech and the people that they're working with, we are dangerously close, looking the next 30 days to make a real formal announcement. So this isn't a formal announcement, but it will be coming. I know this is a public forum and I'm on camera right now, but at any rate, the real big announcement will be coming down the road from Ivy Tech, not Dan Parker. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Probably got myself in trouble, but I've done that before. Any questions for me?
There are several new businesses ready to open.
There are, Jerry, there are. And a lot of activity in restaurants around town. Jack's Donuts and a couple restaurants up on Park Road, the Pancake Place and the old Amato, Bob Evans, whatever you want to call it, and some others that are in process right here downtown as well. So it's a good time in Connersville. There's a lot of positive energy flowing throughout the community. We're happy about it. I know you are, Mayor.
Yes. So if you need a pancake, you don't have to drive to IHOP. You come right downtown, right up there on Park Road. So, good news.
Yes, it is. Anything else? Thank you very much, Board of Works.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, Troy?
Month of April, we had 112 runs, 305 hours on emergencies, 25 hours on inspections, 7 investigations, 18 hours on pre-planning, 164 hours on training. We do our spring cleaning in April, that's why training was down. Guys have worked real hard, did some painting, cleaning up the stations, doing everything. And total overtime was $419.90, and then $1,037 on FLSA for a total of $1,457. Any questions or?
No, sir. Anybody got anything for you?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Jesse?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This Wednesday at 7 p.m. we will have the groundbreaking for Phase 1 of River's Edge. If you all could attend, we would really appreciate it. We'll have a food truck and a bounce house for Harold. It'll be a fun event. So come out at 7 p.m. We'll do the groundbreaking.
Got me back, didn't you?
Other thing, the pool will open this Saturday, May 26th. Historically, we always open the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, but everyone's still in school, so we don't have the kids to run the pool. So we'll be open Saturday, and then we will open up again the following weekend. The pool hours are from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. That'll be every day of the week. We also have some spots available left for pool parties if anyone's interested. Those are after hours that people can rent for a private party. The price ranges from $200 to $300 depending on your party size. You can call the park office to reserve a date. One last thing, we have our Summer Discovery Camp is starting on June 4th. The hours for that are 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. You can register at the office now up until camp starts. Once camp starts, you can register at the camp, and that just takes place in the Miller Center gym. It's $15 a day per child, and that includes all their activities and lunch and a snack. So this year we've got on Mondays and Fridays in the mornings we always go to the pool and the kids can swim for a couple of hours. Wednesday mornings we go to the Family Film Festival that the movie theater hosts. We help sponsor along with Wilson Lawson Meyer and FCN Bank. So we get tickets for the kids to attend no charge. And then on Tuesdays we will be working in the community garden that's up at Offutt's Park. The kids will be working on that Tuesday mornings, and then the rest of the time we do some other activities and they can play and go have fun and walk around the park and go to the playground and all that kind of stuff. So does anybody have any questions about any of that?
I gotta say, the elders luncheon went very well.
It went very well.
And
Very well.
and the park looked good around there, looked good that day, so appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Got all your summer help all lined up. Just about.
Yep. They'll be starting as soon as school's out, so
Good job.
Okay,
thank you.
thank you, Jesse. Carol?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I have the monthly report. In the month of April, the police department answered 1,118 calls, issued 30 citations, one warning, investigated 10 injury accidents, 45 non-injury accidents, 0 fatal accidents, conducted 71 traffic stops, and made 89 arrests. Anybody have any questions? We have one more thing on the agenda, which is the retirement, Craig Pennington's retirement. He's here, I just asked him one last chance to back out. Craig's been here 21 years. He is moving on to a different career, and he would like your approval for his retirement.
What about if we deny it?
I'm not really sure what happens.
What happens if
I
we
think he
deny it,
doesn't
Craig?
anyway.
We've got a gun, Bob. Throwing that out there.
July
on up, Craig.
13th will be his retirement date.
Well, we're gonna miss your smiling face going through here. You got anything you'd like to say or anything?
Yeah, I would. Yep.
This ain't good.
Well, I want to thank my wife and my family for putting up with some times where they probably were worried about me or strange hours, things like that. And I had a very satisfying career. I think I accomplished just about everything I wanted to accomplish in this job. I got to do a lot of things that other police officers didn't get to do, just by timing, just by what I thought was a good work ethic. I want you guys to know what kind of police department we have. Those guys are great. It all starts from the administration also. And I told this story to Harold real quick. I know this has been a long meeting, but I got to tell this story.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, let me tell this story. You know the one I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
go ahead.
Okay, so like I said, I've been able to do everything in this department in my career except be police chief. And when Harold was elected, there was a number of qualified candidates, and we all went in there and we gave it our best shot. And then I thought it was a big deal. We're waiting on the call. I work right beside Carol. Like desks, I didn't want the desk beside Carol, but I got the desk. So we're waiting. Everybody's waiting on the call. We knew what day it was coming. We knew about when it was coming, and Carol was working. It was in the midst of the terrible heroin epidemic we had. And sometimes we can't give a good conclusion to those. Families are hurt, and they're going to be hurt, and they're going to stay hurt. And during that investigation, it's not really an investigation. We knew what happened. It was very obvious. But the family was grieving terribly. And to follow through with the death investigation, she has to interview a number of people. It seems like a matter of course, but you do it. That's your job. And she was in the middle of that during your phone call. She holds her phone up, and there was a number of police officers right there who we knew what the call was about. And she didn't take that call, did she?
No, she didn't. I had to call her back.
She went in and did her job. And I hope I did that over the years. So thank you.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you. Thanks, Craig.
So I guess we're still waiting on your approval.
Make a motion, we accept his retirement.
Oh, yeah, second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you, Craig. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Now he's leaving, is Jackie staying?
Yeah, Jackie's staying.
Okay,
I think that's all I had, so.
thank you, Carol. Okay, John Palsy, is he out now? Here he comes. Hello.
For the month of April, we had 10 hours, 40 minutes of original production, 6 hours, 2 minutes of meeting production. You guys have added to that today because it's an extra long meeting, so that's good. We produced last month the Harlem Wizards Frazee basketball game, which was pretty entertaining. We were requested to do that to help promote the event, and then also for those who were in it and didn't get to see it, so we actually put that out. And Harlem Wizards were great about that. We sent them copies of it. They loved what we did. So we had a great time with that. We've also, of course, produced the primary candidate forum, and that aired up until the election, and then we'll be producing and working with the a couple of organizations locally to produce the fall general election candidate forum. So outside of that, we're gearing up and getting ready for the CHS graduation, and we'll be producing that live. We'll be streaming that live to our YouTube account. So if people that are watching, or if you want to watch or if you know someone that's far away that wants to watch the graduation, you can go to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/local TV3. Subscribe to that and you'll get a notification when we are ready to go live. So, any questions?
All right.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Street Department.
Okay. We have started patching. We really have. Now, if the weather will keep cooperating with us, and we've done a lot already. But by all means, you still got more, call them in. Or let me know and I'll put them on the hand.
Are you gonna start patching any alleys or anything like that?
We have done some of the really, really bad ones. I mean, ones that leak cars. We've jumped into those, but yes, yes, it is the plan. Next week, we are going to start by routes. So we make sure we get every street in the city. And we've been jumping, all around on the calls, on the bad ones we already knew about, things like that. So in order to get all the way through the city, we're going to be running through routes. And at that time, yes, we'll do alleys also. So.
Okay. Got any questions for him?
Weather providing.
Where are you gonna start out on the routes? You know yet?
We'll start with one. Yeah. Just work our way down.
So you're gonna start this exactly when now?
Next Monday.
Next Monday, okay.
Okay.
All righty.
Thanks.
Because I know there's some people have been asking me about there at Morning Glory Lane and stuff over there.
They're fixed.
Okay.
They were over in Hanson Meadows today.
Yeah, they're fixed.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty good.
We get to them, it just takes a minute.
That is pretty good. All right, Daryl, thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, Dale.
Okay, Dale?
Okay, our total net expenses for April was $163,288.41. Our receipts was $98,062.37. And city share of that was $37,516.14. We did 380 runs. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Dale?
I have one more something I'd like to throw out that's not on the agenda. I'd like permission to hire 2 part-time personnel. One's an EMT and one is a paramedic. The EMT is Matthew Badel and the paramedic is Bill Hufford. And I'd like permission to hire those 2 as part-time.
Where'd Bill work at?
Bill was at the hospital here and now he's at Rushville part-time and he's a EMS instructor at Newcastle.
That's all it was.
You've had part-time in the past, right?
Oh, yes. I've quite a few.
Motion to approve his request.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve his request. Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Dale.
Thank you.
Okay, going down to old business. Okay, if there's no old business, I'll go down to miscellaneous. I do regret what I'm going to do here. Gotta, here, you read this.
I don't know if I want to read this or not, Darren. All right. This letter's dated May 14th, 2018. Mayor Gordon, this letter is sent as a follow-up per our conversation on May 4th, 2018, at which time I advised you of my impending resignation as council for the city of Connersville. It has been my privilege to work with you and various department heads of the city. I thank you for the opportunity and your trust in me. This has been a very gratifying experience, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you, the department heads and council and Board of Works members. As I stated previously, I intend to work as city attorney until May 31st, 2018, with the expectation that I will be serving as senior judge in Wayne County, May 17th and 18th. I will be in Indianapolis for an interview for a judicial job on May 23rd. Although I've enjoyed this job tremendously, as I'm resigning because of my husband and I will now reside in Marion County due to his employment there. As I have discussed with you, the law requires a city attorney of a third-class city reside within the county where the city is located. I will do my best to bring my successor up to speed on all pending legal matters as soon as you name my replacement. I wish you and the city employees and all the appointed and elected city officials continued success. May God bless you all. Very sincerely, Beth A. Butch.
Oh,
Yeah, I could not read that.
I guess the only thing I would add to that is some things such as the energy contract we just discussed, the FOP negotiations, and there's an environmental restrictive ordinance that's pretty involved that's going to be on the agenda for the first meeting in June. And I discussed those things with the mayor, and I will, I think probably for sure be here in person through the conclusion of those three things. If not, I will make sure that the person who succeeds me in the job is completely up to speed on all that, but I intend to participate in the police negotiations and the energy savings through the end, unless that just becomes completely impossible. But other than that, I'd just like to thank everybody. I really enjoyed working with you, so thank you.
So if I don't say it, you can't resign, right?
I think I can.
She doesn't have a gun.
Okay, need the approval of this resignation letter, even though I hate it.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. You sure you still have to do this, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I guess officially, I got you for about 10 more days.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, going down the claims.
Okay, for the claims for the city side, we had a total of $99,549.39. For the utilities, we had a total of $247,412.98. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Approved claims. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Think everybody gets paid and the bills get paid. Okay, going down to item 9. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak? Anyone? Okay, if not, we'll go on down. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passed. Adjourn.